even looking at some of the new guidelines with the SBA, it doesn't look like they want it to slow down either. They're
That's
making it
gonna help,
easier
right?
to buy businesses. Yeah. You had mentioned earlier about the seller kind of staying on, essentially, rolling in some equity. That actually came out yesterday. The SBA said that anybody that has ownership in an acquisition like that has to be a guarantor on the loan. So it's something
Okay,
new.
so it's not the 20% rule anymore.
Correct. Yeah.
So even if they have less than 20%, they still have to be a guarantor?
Yes.
Ooh, didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah. So the new SOP comes out next month.
Okay.
Or it'll go into effect next month.
Yeah.
So that's probably what we're going to see. So a lot of times what the SBA does is they will roll out all the new rules and they'll say they go into effect in 2 months.
Yeah.
But they make the rules extremely vague when they come out. So we're all sitting here trying to interpret them and get them to make sense.
Wow,
and then finally they'll give us examples and they'll say, this is what we meant. And so that's what they just did yesterday.
You own 1%, you got to be a PG.
Yeah. So now we still have a couple of weeks, so it might change.
Yeah.
But
you saw how excited the community was, right?
Yeah. Well, it made perfect sense too, though, from the way we look at it. Oftentimes it's a little bit of a double-edged sword because a lot of times we want the seller to stay involved, especially if there's licensing that needs to transfer, right? And you have a lot of these deals where somebody is really, really good at whatever widget they make or whatever service they provide, but they are terrible when it comes to sales or accounting or inventory management. I mean, if I had $1 for every deal where they say, oh, the seller doesn't even, do their own accounting, they don't do their financials until year end. You're like, what?
Yep.
So you throw in this good partner, right, that has some good experience, good education, and maybe, fulfills that side that they're missing. And we love to see that, right? So we were kind of excited about it. The only thing that I get a little nervous about is most deals that do go bad is the partnership breaks down. Mm-hmm. And so you get a little nervous that you're bringing in a buyer who's most likely, younger than and buying it from an older seller who's done things a certain way for 25 years. This kid doesn't know what he's talking about, and it blows up. And so we get a little nervous with that. But now I think it's going to be less likely that a seller is going to want to provide a personal guarantee.
For sure.
I think we'll probably see it happen maybe if it's like they're selling to an employee or general manager or something like that.
Yeah, that's true.
And they don't have the liquidity to put down. So we might not see those happen as much.
Yeah.
But at least they've loosened up a little bit on the down payment requirements. So
matter of fact, we're going and we just got an executed LOI with a 10% rollover. So we're gonna need to address that.
Yeah. I know. Yesterday I was recording all day and I wasn't on my phone or my email, and then I finally get on my phone. I have like 15 text messages from everybody mad, and I'm like, oh no, they must have changed something. Yeah. So yeah, it's very interesting to see over the last, I'd say about 10 years, how business acquisitions with SBA lending has evolved. I mean, it was to the point where it was 25% down, no questions asked, like minimum. If you could get at 25, maybe 10% seller carry and like 15% down.
And it had to be you, no outside investors.
Exactly. Yeah. And it was crazy to see that these banks, and even then it was so hard. It was a lot of smaller deals, real good, auto repair, restaurants, stuff like that. That was pretty easy to see. Like those are the types of deals that trade hands a lot. Yep. We were never doing $6-7 million, tech companies, IT, services, stuff like that we're doing now. So it's kind of nice to see it go, from that all the way to now people are doing, 95%. You can do 100% if you're buying another company. But about halfway through kind of the rise of it, I said, someone should start a fund or something to put in the money to help with the down payment. The banks hated that. They didn't want to do it. They don't want somebody to not have skin in the game, right? And so I think what we're seeing now is kind of a good, healthy blend where typically the true, operator and that's going to borrow the money and be the guarantor on the loan is usually still bringing some money to the table. Sure.